When I heard that Battlerite was getting a Battle Royale mode, I of course had the natural reaction of rolling my eyes so hard they nearly popped out of my head. The gaming market has a nasty habit of latching onto any idea that works, no matter how done to death the idea has already become, and it looks like Battle Royale is that idea for this year. Still, I'm a fan of Battlerite, and they sent me an early access code, so I decided to see what they brought to the table. I'm Colt for MMOHuts.com, and here's my first look at Battlerite Royale. That is tricky to say. I should start by clarifying that Battlerite Royale isn't a mode in Battlerite, it's actually a standalone game. It takes the core concept of a Battlerite match, trades out the teams for solo competition and the center orb for loot orbs, and it tosses players onto a map much larger than the regular Battlerite map, 30 at a time. Instead of buying skills between rounds, you find them in loot orbs at random rarities alongside gold, consumables, and gear. If you find a higher quality version of your character's abilities or gear, it'll automatically upgrade yours and leave the weaker version behind. Don't worry, if you find an ability someone else dropped, it'll still work for you. They're labeled by keyboard shortcuts rather than character-specific skills, so you don't have to worry about finding one specific to your character. Next to each player's health bar over their character is a circled number representing your level. This level is determined based on the number and level of skills you have and the level of your gear. You can see them on your opponents as well, so it serves as a great visual indicator of a player's threat to you at a glance. Make sure you're picking fights you can win in the early game. The faster you cut off players who land near you, the better off you'll be in the long run. Speaking of fights, the combat feels nearly identical to how it does in Battlerite, and that's definitely to the game's credit. There wasn't any lag that I could feel, the frame rate was constant, and the overall in-match experience felt very polished for an early access title, which is a damn sight more than I can say for most of the early access shovelware I've been forced to review in the past. Like its MOBA namesake, everything in Battlerite is a skill shot, so you'll have to put in some practice to get really good at hitting moving targets. If you're new to Battlerite, I'd recommend starting with a melee character first to get a feel for the controls and using skills. It'll make it a little easier to get comfortable, and then you can transition into some of the more challenging ranged characters. You're given full use of your mounts throughout the course of a match, and learning when to make use of them and your consumables is crucial. There are Battle Royale standards like health potions, but also stealth potions, ninja hooks to grab people, and even fake treasure chests you can lay down that damage players who try to open them. I cannot overstate how important it is to remember that you have these and to learn to use them effectively. It makes a world of difference in your rankings at the end of each match. Like in Realm Royale, chests will spawn at certain locations on the map after a certain amount of time has passed. These chests offer better than normal loot and are a hotspot for player activity. If you're looking to swoop in at the end of a battle and clean up a few kills to close out a round, this is your place to do it. There are a few spots where chests spawn with plenty of bushes right next to the chests, so you can make good use of the cover and strike when people are weak from the brawl. If I haven't made it clear by now, I want to outright say that I was thoroughly impressed with Battlerite Royale. From a visual standpoint, the game looks super crisp and the bright colors really pop out at you. The dynamic lighting affects where and what you can see in buildings from both inside and outside, and it makes hiding and exploring a more unique experience than in the genre's shooter counterparts, which adds a very small new layer of depth to how you approach the game. Battlerite Royale does have its flaws other than its tricky to say name, but they're few and far between. Most of the things I found frustrating about the game aren't problems with the game itself, but rather minor annoyances with the genre as a whole and how it translates to this game. It feels like it can take forever to jump into a match once everyone's connected, even if you're only waiting 30 seconds. The size of the map also means that even with just 30 players, the spread isn't very far. You're almost certainly going to be fighting people as soon as you touch the ground. That isn't a problem per se, but if you're new and you're not that great at the game yet, it can be frustrating to land in the middle of a bunch of people and get dunked on immediately. Don't worry if it happens to you, it's all about practice. I got dunked on in my first few games, but after an hour or two of gameplay, I was consistently finishing in the top 10 or top 15. The thing that makes losing early sting less in other Battle Royale games is that the matchmaking happens very quickly. You're never out of gameplay for a super long time. Here, and I'm chalking it up to the game being in early access, finding a match can take upwards of 3 or 4 minutes, and it can be frustrating because actually playing the game is so damn fun. For want of a better segue, I want to talk about the user interface a bit. The entirety of menus, from the home screen to the storefront and champions page, has a super clean material-esque design, and it's easy to navigate. I did have a problem with the quest system and character select screen though. One of the first quests you're given is to play a game as each of the 3 roles, melee, ranged, and support. The only problem with that is the character select screen doesn't have a support category, so you need to have a fairly intimate knowledge of Battlerite's roster and how they fall into the archetypes to complete the quest. It's a minor gripe, but it's one that could be easily fixed. The game does have a cash shop, but the shop only sells cosmetic items for characters. You can unlock all of the items through gameplay except for each character's legendary skins, but it can take some time. The game rewards you with loot boxes frequently, but a lot of them contain only the most basic of palette swap skins and weapons, and most of the time they might not even be for a character you play. In my first 2 hours or so, I had almost 20 of the things to open, and out of those 20 loot boxes, I got almost nothing of note. There are also character-specific chests you can get for leveling up characters by playing them. These guarantee you'll get at least one item for that character, so if you find someone you like, you're not left playing to RNGesus that you'll get something out of the generic loot boxes for that character. Despite all of this, it's still a bit of a shame that the best skins in the game have to be bought outright, and even the palette swaps take a long time to show up, even in character-specific chests. Unfortunately, this brings me to my biggest gripe with Battlerite Royale. It's a buy-to-play game. The OG Battlerite community is on the decline, and with its max player count in the last month reaching just 4,000 people, down from its all-time peak of nearly 500,000 according to Steam charts. For a development team who's trying to pull in as many players as possible to their new game, as well as trying to convert or retain players from the original Battlerite, gating off the game, one that would work amazingly as a free-to-play game mind you, seems like a bad move. This is to say absolutely nothing of the fact that they're putting a real cash shop into a game with an upfront cash cost. Granted, the game is only $10, and even I said just minutes ago that the cash items are only cosmetic. Still, I think Jim Sterling said it best when he posited that microtransactions have no place in a game you have to pay to play, even if they're just cosmetic. Cosmetics are a part of the experience. The price you pay to play the game should be your cost of entry. I'd personally rather pay $25 or $30 for a game and have all the skins unlock as a reward for gameplay at a reasonable rate than pay $10 and have to spend additional cash for each cool outfit I want to unlock that adds up to far more than just paying a bit more up front. A lot of people on Reddit, especially in the Battlerite subreddit, are quick to call this a greedy cash grab, and normally I'd be inclined to agree, at least a little bit. Given the state of Battlerite's community at the moment and the fact that there's likely a lot riding on this game for the company, it's easier to see why they would try to make some extra cash out of it. It doesn't excuse the behavior, but it makes it easier to understand. The games cost money to develop, and keeping the servers running isn't free, especially for a declining community. I think Battlerite Royale is a good game. I would even go as far as to say that it's worth the $10. Well worth the $10, actually. I think the microtransactions are a bit much for a game you're already having to pay to play, but it's in no way as bad as games that are still charging $60 plus and carving out content to shove into random loot boxes. If you like Battlerite and you're looking for a unique take on the Battle Royale genre, you should check out Battlerite Royale. It's damn fun, annoyances aside. Well, that's all for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and keep it locked on MMOHuts.com for all the latest gaming news and reviews.